That is, we're going to introduce the Scramble game called Scramble TLC Bridge Game. Okay, stay tuned. We'll be right back. Okay.
Thank you very much.
We had a very interesting interview with Mr. Steve Chetcuti, who is the music teacher at Somers Middle School. And you can be sure that we're going to have more of his students and performers to come to our show. Now we are come back to our Scramble game show. As I explained before, because the rescheduling that this half an hour we are not going to have a regular games played by children, we are going to introduce a new game. All right? This new game is called Scramble TLC Bridge. It's a long name, but as you know, Scramble is always added onto a familiar game. Everybody knows what bridge game is, okay? Bridge games played with these poker cards, okay, which is cards that I have now in my hand. Now, people also know the bridge game usually played by 4 people, right? And by 2 teams. But what happens if you don't have 4 people? Particularly if you have only 2 people, say on a trip, or a couple on a cruise, whatever, you can still play bridge. And that bridge usually is 2-person bridge. And some people will call it a honeymoon bridge, right? When you're on honeymoon, only 2 of you. Therefore, you know, if you want to play a bridge game, you have to play 2-people game. Now, the honeymoon bridge is actually not that different from regular bridge, except played by 2 people. So how do you deal with this 52 cards that is usually you know, divided into 13, 4 people? Now, the honeymoon bridge, there are 2 ways to play. First way is you deal 2 people 13 cards, right? And you can bid just as if you are bidding with 4 people in your hand. But with the understanding, the other 26 cards on the deck, okay, will be used by you and your opponent to exchange cards and so on to end up with 26 cards you can play with your contract, so-called, you know, auction or the bidding contract. Now, to bridge players, this is so simple. Everybody understands the language. For people not playing before, it's a little hard, but just follow, bear with me a few minutes, you would understand. So if you have 13 cards in your hand, as poker cards, you have 4 suits: spade, heart, diamond, and club. And you look at the suit and you see whether you can make 1 winning trick, 2, 3, and 4, and you therefore bid. For example, 1 club, 1 diamond, 1 heart, or 2 club, 2 diamond, 2 heart, and so on and so forth, right? So those rules, if you're totally sort of not familiar with the bridge, I advise you then read a book and go on the internet, take a look at some, you know, introduction. You will understand. So I will assume now at this level, you know how to bid. If you bid 2 diamond, means you expect to win, okay, 8 tricks out of 13, okay, and 1 diamond is 7, okay. 7 is the minimum for you bidding a contract. So when you dealt 13 cards and your opponent's 13 cards, 26 cards left on the table, you, based on your card, you bid either 1 diamond, 2 heart, or 3 spades, whatever you think you can win. Naturally, when you have 13 cards, you cannot predict, as like 4 people playing bridge, you have a partner which has 13 cards to sort of support you. The complementary pair would win more tricks than single hand. So you have to imagine what are the other 26 cards out there that is either helping you or not helping you, depending on who gets those cards. So in the first version is to bid first and then exchange cards. Exchange by having a card open from the deck. Let's say the card open is a club, and you happen to bid a club. Then, of course, this is a trump, and you would like to have it, and you would change and try to win this card into your hand. By winning means you may want to even take a high card like a diamond ace, which you say, well, I don't want a diamond in my hand anyway, so I will use ace to win this club, and the opponent has to play a diamond less than ace, then you get the club, and which is a trump card, into your hand, and so on. So this is a process called exchange. By doing this, the 26 cards, okay, that is unknown, is become half known, just like bridge. Only the dummy opened 13 cards. The other 13 still unknown to you. Now, because the open card is always known, when you take it, you want it, you don't want it, and so on, that process will review 13 cards. The rest 13 is still unknown. So this is version 1, a process you play. At the end, you end up with 13 cards in your hand. Based on that 13 cards and based on the knowledge of other cards you know and guessing what the opponent may have, you will then play these cards to win the contract. If you bid 2 diamond, you would have to win 8 tricks. Okay? So that's the version 1. Version 2 is somewhat similar, except when you dealt the test 13 cards, you do not make a bidding. You do the exchange, same process of exchange, okay, before bidding. Why this is different? Interesting. Because when you do that, you almost have to have a strategy in your hand, okay, or in your head, to exchange the cards in such a way you end up with not only a biddable hand, but you can bid a contract that higher than your opponent, and you can win. Okay? So when you have 13 cards, sometimes you have some bad cards you want to get rid of. How do you get rid of? Is when you have a card that open you don't want, therefore you say, well, club I don't want. I'll play 3 club. And if they don't have 2, they have higher club, they have to win this one back, and then you get the next card, right? So this process goes on, exhausts the 26 cards, you end up with 13, and then you look at it, aha, I have accumulated 7 spade. That's pretty good hand. I will bid 3 spade, for example. All right? Now, if this opponent cannot outbid you, and then you would, win the contract, then you will start playing, okay, and lead a card and so on. Now, leading in the usual bridge usually is the contract holder doesn't lead. The other one attacks, sort of leads the card. But in this 2-hand bridge, some people played leading by the bidder, some people playing lead by the opponent. I think probably leading by the opponent is still the best, okay, in my opinion. But it's probably not that critical. All right, so I have gotten a quick introduction on the ordinary bridge. Now, I'm going to tell you how do you play Scramble bridge. And I name it a TLC because this card exchange process really is a tender loving care process. You've got to be thinking hard. How do you do that? Now, first question you may have is, how do you play the bridge game with the Scramble cards rather than the poker cards? Now you have these letters, right? And how do you follow that rule? As I explained before, in all the Scramble game, we try to make the rules as close as to the game you're familiar with. So I am going to adopt the bridge game rules to play the Scramble. Now, first, you'll still deal with 13 cards. Okay, let's say I will do 13 cards in my hand. Okay, same way. And my opponent, okay, would have 13 cards as well. Right? Now, again, there are 2 versions. One version is you bid first and then exchange cards. And the other version is you exchange cards and bid. Now, let me explain to you the bidding process. This, I may have to use the board here a little bit. Let's say the Scramble cards on the board, usually, okay, let's say this, I put it vertically because that's how you hold poker cards in playing bridge. L3, this L is the letter, 3 is 3 points. There's 2 sort of information here. In the bidding of Scramble bridge game, you basically bid 2 numbers. The first number represents, okay, instead of in the bridge game, spade, heart, diamond, club, the first number represents the length of the word. If I think out of my 13 cards, the highest word, longest word I can make is 7, then I would have bid 7. Then there's a second number I have to bid. What's the second number? Second number will represent the points that you will make out of the 7-letter word. If I bid 7, 15, which means I will make a 7-letter word, the points added up to be at least 15. So that's my contract. Now my opponent, looking at her hand or his hand, will say, you bid 7.50, I will bid 9.20. Then she would outbid me, okay? So that's the bidding process. 9.20 means she will make a 9-letter word with 20 points, okay? Now, when you play this as a honeymoon bridge, 2 people, okay? Again, we will use that card exchange process to enhance the value in your hand, because you, if you always bid conservatively whatever you have in your hand, your bidding could be very low. Usually be 3-letter word, 4-letter word, all right? And 8 points, 9 points. But in this process, you really should bid a little higher and a little more aggressively and anticipate what? Anticipating a card exchange process. So you would exchange some cards that come in. Let's say you had a 4-letter word, but if you get a couple of other letters in, you may even expand this to a 7-letter word, an 8-letter word. Then the question is, what is the chance to get those letters? So you have to know the deck of cards, the probability or the distribution of the letters, how you're going to get those cards. All right. Now let me sit down again. Okay. So this explanation, okay, hopefully is good enough to at least help you if you are already a bridge player and was wondering, oh, how do you play word bridge? This Scramble bridge. And this is how you bid. Okay. Now, I'm going to now demonstrate this. Maybe you use the board. I'm going to put 13 cards on the board. And I do it horizontally because the letter is easier to see. Okay? 5, 6, 7, 8, 17, 13. Okay? Now, I put it randomly, but you could sort them and so on. Let's first see what do you think you can make as words. Okay? Now, for example, ing is very good ending. You got 3 H, which is not very good. H, I, for example, hiking, right? Hiking, E, well, we can make a little more. How about this is K, R. Wild, we could use, let's see. This K is high point, so you want to use the K. Let's just think, let's say we just simply, at this point, you know you can make inking, right? That is left plus right. These two add up as 11 points bonus. That's very good. And ing, right? And K is 9 points. And this is 3 times the left side, 3L times the K, 9 points. That's 27 bonus. So the high points here. Just this 6-letter word, you get 2, 9 is 11, 13, 14 plus 6 is 20. 20 plus this 11 is 31. 31 plus this 27, 58. That 6-letter word is 58. So if I would have to bid, forget about these other letters, minimum I could bid 658 as a bidding without even changing cards if I had this in my hand. And I could obviously change some of the HR, these redundant letters, to get some other letter which may help me to make this maybe into thinking rather than inking. TH. If I get a T and an H, I would do thinking. So I would elevate myself from a 6-letter word to 8-letter word and so on. So now you get the gesture, right? how do you bid is based on how cards is in your hand and anticipate what you may get by the exchanging process. And I said before, the exchange process fundamentally is the deck of cards, you have one open, and you and the opponent would sort of try to decide whether you want this card or you don't want this card. Either way, you have to be strategic. You have to use other card either to win or to lose. Sometimes it's hard to lose because if the opponent played a card in a certain, you cannot lose because the numbers are not there, right? Now, in the poker game, there's the 4 suits: spade, heart, diamond, club. Therefore, you have to follow suit. So in this exchange card process in Scramble, there's no suit. So to win a card or lose a card basically has to be using alphabetic order and the number system to determine whether your card is higher ranked or lower ranked in order to win or lose a card. Okay? So that exchange process goes on to enhance your hand. Now, when do you start? Because we have more than 52 cards. You don't want to go on forever. The rule is when your turn to play, you can declare, I won't exchange cards. I will stop at this point. And that, again, is a very strategic decision that's based on your hands. Oh, I already have a 10-letter word. That's fairly hard to make. And I don't think my opponent will have that high length word. So then I will say, I stop the exchange and start the bidding. That's the version 2. Change the card, then bid. Then I will bid 10, 100. That means 10, the word's length is 10, and points is 100. And see how your opponent bids. And the opponent may pass, then you would have to demonstrate you got the 10 and 10 words. Words are 10 letters long. Now, what happened to the other 3? You still continue making. Now, in the process, you make 1 word, 2 word. At the end, maybe even single letter, but still that winning process will win these cards over. At the end, you compute or calculate the points in your hand to determine how many points you win. Sort of like a bridge game, you keep track of scores. At the end, how many points you make. Okay, so you can keep on playing this game for many, many hands, and at the end to see how you fare. Now, so this is Scramble bridge game, and we call it Scramble TLC bridge game for a reason that this process, I call it TLC. You got to really think, okay, before you just randomly change. For example, here, you do want to keep H because if you get a T, you get thinking or something else. S, R is shrinking, okay? Those are strategic. So when you exchange, you would exchange a proper, letters. Now, sometimes you want to keep the E because that's a vowel, and you want to, have another word besides this word so that you can make 2 words and win 2 tricks. Okay, so that's the game how it's played. Now, let me do this. We have only a few minutes left. I'm going to try to do this by helping you to think along this line, okay? Now, I am going to shovel a little bit. Oops, this is upside down. All right, here's the deck. Pretending you, okay, are playing with me. I'm going to deal, okay, you 13 cards. This is your 13 cards. I'm going to put it over here. W, D, J, S, P, wider here, L, D, P, I think you are in trouble. This is your cards. And you don't have much vowel. Oh, A comes up. And oh, good. You are safe. 7. There's 13 cards here. Okay? Let's say we do the game, the version 1. You bid first, then change cards. So when you bid, look at this, how many words you may make, okay? Remember I was telling you the 2 numbers, right? That means 1 word, 1 point. The highest length word represent highest contract. Okay. Here, wow, I can see a word right there. Piano. So at least you can bid is 5, that's 5-letter word, points 6 plus 2, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, 3 times 1 is 3, that's 14 points. So 514 is your bid. 514, right? Okay, now I am going to have 13 cards dealt to me. I'm going to do it vertically so we can tell the difference. Too many vowels here, huh? Whoa, keep on coming with vowels. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, R. Okay, this is 13, it's my cards. Okay? Now, let's say you happy enough to say 514, right? What do I have? I got too many vowels. Okay. Let's do some ER or OR. Rotor. Okay. Let's just say I do rotor. That's also 5-letter word. That same level as yours. But I only have 2, 1 is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I can only bid 5, 7, which is below your 514. I cannot outbid you, then you will get the bid. And then you decide to change cards, and you will try to change other letters to help yourself to get other words. Okay? Now, when you start playing, when you lead on a contract like this, your first lead has to be a 5-letter word. The rest of the word comes next. So I think this probably enough explanation to show you it's possible to play a very interesting scramble bridge game. Okay? So today we spent this half an hour to show you this new game, and you're welcome to come to our studio and we can play this. Of course, you can, if you have cards at home, you can play it at home, right? It's very easy to do that. All right. Thank you for watching. Okay. Today we had an interesting guest from our school, a music teacher, Mr. Steve Chetcuti, and he has a very interesting website called www.radiohour.net. Okay? And we, of course, welcome anybody that wants to come to our show to contact us to either play Scramble cards, games, or to tell us your passion. Thank you.